So we are live here. So we are live here. And just want to remain quiet. And this is January 6th. I want everyone to be calm, cool, and collected. So January 6th is when they say Trump supporters stormed our Capitol. And I want to say that anytime I thought some shaving cream flew and it flew in my ear. But anytime you break the law or you do something you shouldn't, the possibility of you paying the price is very great. And there are a lot of things out there that are going to make you angry. And there's always that possibility that you're going to not have things necessarily go your way. And when that happens, you have to decide what you're going to do and how you're going to behave. And I want people to behave in the most intelligent manner possible. And I want people to realize that there are repercussions for how you behave. And it doesn't matter what political aisle you are on, you should always try to manage your anger, no matter what the outcome is, because anger can be very destructive. And I want to thank you, Nikki. Nikki did show up to our show. I had to delete that show just because it's not the area in which I want my show to go. I don't think it's in the best way of healing, so I had to delete that, but I finally got to meet Nikki, and it was really fun. And look, I have a sense of humor that is vulgar and can go down certain roads, but for this show, that's not what I'm interested in. Joe, do you have a response for what I said?
And I'm also going to thank Nikki, and I'm also going to thank the Master of Rope for his wonderful comment. JP is so handsome, so true. And welcome to Transparency and Merit.
I want to welcome Donning Armor as well.
Yes, Donning is here. Got a nice little crowd. Darren, I miss Darren. Haven't seen him in a bit. I guess I could say Happy New Year to him. Stopped saying that a while ago, though.
And little Nikki has a wonderful British, she's from Britain, and she has a wonderful British accent, and just, I found it rather enchanting. Like I was in the Knights of the Round Table or something. Anyway, I'm just speaking off the top of, I really do, as I've gotten older, I really do admire British culture and particularly British Stoicism. I think that is the Stoicism that I think that I follow the best when it was formed, and that nation. The stiff upper lip, and the they seem to not get angry or not as quick to passion as other European cultures, and I kind of like that, although I could be wrong on that. Anyway, Joe, do you have any comment on what I said earlier or before? Go ahead.
No, no comment at all. But go ahead.
So I'm going to continue on this issue of anger. And there is a lot of anger in this country today. And it is on both sides. And one side has power and the other doesn't. One side seems to have institutional power and the other side doesn't. And the side that has institutional power, or I would say maybe establishment power, the ones that are outside of the establishment are rather upset and angry. That is correct. The Knights of the Round Table did not have chairs that supported 400 pounds. They probably didn't. They were probably much smaller men. And there's a lot of myths out there. Donning armor kind of brings up, when we talk about the Knights of the Round Table, and we talk about, fables and movie fables and movie myths. A lot of people think that they have good wisdom to offer, and on average, really, I think sometimes they can be rather detrimental to reality. And there are very few films that deal with bullies and deal with difficult situations, and they might surprise you on the films that I think, but for the most part, films are not a good representation of reality. They very much skew it, particularly when it comes to dealing with bullies, because they always encourage the bully, the person to fight their bully, and that is not always a good idea. And it's not a good idea sometimes to even fight the people that oppress you. Sometimes the smartest thing to do is to flee and to avoid conflict. And you have to really put it, if you're going to start conflict with somebody, even with words, you have to realize, what are you gaining with this? And I have to realize that too. A lot of times I'll get on line and I'll say things to people, but then I have to ask myself, what am I gaining by presenting this knowledge to them, by somebody who's hostile to the knowledge that I'm presenting? It's really a waste of time, and it's more my ego, and I want to one-up them. Well, they're not going to tolerate that, and they're not going to gain anything from that. So this is just for me and others out there. When you are in any kind of conflict, whether it be political or personal, you have to ask yourself, where is this going and where is this leading? Is this leading to resolution, or is this leading to more heavily conflict? And if the person has any kind of power over you and you enrage them, they're going to do it more. I often have a need to express my feelings and express my opinions, and I know that that's kind of detrimental, and that's been detrimental for me in the past. I actually was posting on my community Facebook page, and somebody actually doxed where I lived, and doxed my place of work. Anyway, Joe, do you have any comments to make so far, perhaps about anger management and about conflict resolution, and how maybe people can best best deal with difficult situations?
I'm going to stick with what I taught and gave lectures on, and really researched and saw the efficacy and the just this, the raw effect of people who searched within and were able to understand what any of these situations are doing to me, inside of me. So it's really hard to take these strategies out into the world, whether it's at work or into a relationship or whatever it is. It's hard to address these situations if you haven't found these, if you haven't been able to resolve conflict in yourself. And that's that. I mean, it sounds very, I don't know. It sounds kind of like maybe something that's been said a million times, and it has, but it is true. You gotta go within and learn your limitations, your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, and when you enter into a situation armed with all that awareness, it makes things a lot easier. You're able to breathe, and JP has a fence stuck up his arse. Donning, you are a creep. No, I'm not sure what that means. I'm not trying to sound. Does that sound stuck up to you, Brian? Does it sound? I'm trying to keep this as, you asked me a question that seems to me, um, this isn't something that you need years of deep psychotherapy and psychological analysis to recognize. You just need to be able to know these things about yourself before you can enter into a two-way or a show and start espousing all your views and not having done the work. If you've probably heard that before, but you got to do the work. And it is work. When you start really digging into yourself critically in these ways, you start to see. Hey, I'm gonna go grab a drink really quick.
Very well. So yeah, people do sometimes have to dig in deep to themselves and basically find out kind of what they're made of and uh, find out what makes them tick and what makes them angry. I mean, some of the rules apply in self-defense, and I remember I had a person who taught self-defense, and he said, "I want you to learn the best self-defense technique," and he just ran out the door. Like he came in and he just, he went in and he ran out, and he just turned around and ran away. He said, "Listen, for the most part, you want to always strive to avoid physical conflict." And he says, "What I'm teaching you is something that you should use as a last resort." Um, because the thing is, if you're successful, if you're unsuccessful, you can really lose. But even if you're successful, you can lose. You can lose because if you physically assault someone and you really injure them, or God forbid, you cause them death, you're going to go through a court case and this and that. So you want to always strive to avoid physical contact as best you can. And sometimes going to rallies and stuff like that and arguing with people of different political persuasions, particularly if they are violent. Well, Donning Armour was on the stream and then he was not, but we certainly we put out there to just say to people that it's always a good idea to avoid most conflict. Anyway, I'm going to let Donning Armour on. Donning Armour, do you have any comment on that? Anything like that?
Not much, except for I agree, and I once again have to apologize because I did not display control. Um, a certain person ran the conversation, and I eventually became, well, let's just say belligerent. And I let my anger take control of me. I said things that I probably should not have said. I apologize for that, and you had to privatize the stream, which is not cool. I don't come here to do that type of thing, but I am easily egged on, and I think it was demonstrated in the previous stream. Um, I tried not to get too bad with it, too vulgar, but I can go there. And unfortunately, I think it just got out of hand. Hey, but it's all good, you know. Um, I certainly enjoyed the conversation. I enjoy your show, Howard. Not Howard. Jesus, Brian. Oh my God,
He does,
Freudian
he
slip.
does tend to try to make it his show. And Howard is someone that can push people's buttons, and he likes to push mine. And like, okay, you've done things like that, and like I said, sometimes people have good knowledge, but what good does it do? Um, I remember, like I played ball before, and we'd play ball with a group of guys, and there was one guy that was really good, but his behavior was just really awful. Like nobody wanted to play with that guy. And it's, sometimes I take it as like a basketball knowledge. I mean, there was a guy that would come in to the place, and he would any team he was on, he would just take the ball down by himself, and it was a one man show for him, and he would never pass the ball, and nobody liked the guy. And pretty soon, people like would find other places to play because that person was there. And
Well, that's unfortunately that's what's. I mean, you guys have known each other for like a decade. I don't really know you. In fact, I feel quite uncomfortable speaking to you. I don't like referring to you as Brian or Joey or Angela. It creeps me out because I honestly don't know any of you. Um,
and
but he does control the show, and there are people like that. Uh, as I stated in I don't know how many shows it was back, when you try to have a conversation with him, he will accuse you of things and ask you questions. And when you respond to those questions, he always has another accusation or another question. He won't respond in a coherent manner that drives the conversation forward so that we can actually figure things out. Now, I personally appreciate real dialogue and real conversation um, rather than just being called this thing or that thing. I actually enjoy the conversation. So, yeah.
some people on. I'm going to see who they are. We have G G Dragon. G Dragon, welcome to the conversation. What say you? Or if you have anything to say.
I just joined us, so what's the topic here? I just joined.
Oh, it's primarily about January 6th and Stoic Calm, and it's for me. I want to take it into controlling your anger and conflict resolution. What is the best way for that? So, anyway, let's bring on Cantifa. Cantifa, what say you?
I'm here for you, Brian. Coming for you, Brian.
Well, Your photo is funny. It does make me laugh, and I think it's important to laugh. I think that's a funny picture of Kyle Rittenhouse. I wish it wasn't on there, but it does make me laugh. What do you have anything to say about constructive criticism and conflict resolution?
I think you should take some constructive criticism, Brian, and fix your boring show some of the times. Because sometimes you don't even take criticism. You think someone is just disagrees with you based on your beliefs, but no. Sometimes just spewing what beliefs you have tends to bore your audience.
May may I just jump in really quick with just a couple
Go
of
right
asides?
ahead.
Are you Sly?
No, I'm Cantifa.
I mean, if you know his voice, Donnie, you know that it's also Sly. So he came in as Cantifa, but yeah.
Okay, that's fine. My first question is, what is the significance of January 6th? Because I do not know that. And my second question, and I'm not going to start an argument, I have no intention to do so. As I told you, Cantifa, I love you and I want the best for you. You're my white brother. But,
I'm not white though. I'm not white, and I'm not your brother.
oh,
So
you're not
stop
white.
that nonsense.
Oh, okay. Then I take it back. Apologize.
Well,
God bless the white race.
okay, guys.
God bless the brown race.
There
For
we
all
go.
the whiteys.
Thank you all much. Oh God, I don't want this to get out of hand here, but
It's okay.
I'm so sorry this has happened. Did I miss anything, Brian? Are there any comments that were directed to me?
no. Well, Cantifa is Sly thinks you're cute, but I just wanted to say that I just wanted to say that the reason this is January 6th is there's a lot of anger out there in this country and in this world right now, and there's a lot of hyperbolic talk on both sides, and I think it's good to try to avoid that and to try to really not speak with anger. And I have also spoken with anger, and sometimes anger is good, but when it's not controlled, then it's not necessarily a good thing. And
Is there some kind of historical meaning to January 6th? And possibly, I don't know the weight restrictions of this stream, but maybe we can get 400-pound Nikki on here. But no, I was thinking that there was some kind of historical event that occurred on January 6th. And sorry, little Nikki.
well,
I believe we exceeded the weight limit because of Brian, because he's a real fat ass. He didn't.
well, I have been losing weight, and we have yet to see your face, Cantifa, and I'd like to see how fat you are, because I think you're maybe even fatter than me.
No, I'm
But
definitely a lot thinner than you, Brian.
I don't know. Maybe it's all that Canadian snow that you smoke that makes you fat.
It's Canadian ice, not Canadian snow. What is wrong with you, Brian? You really are
Tomato,
getting
tomato, buddy. Tomato, tomato.
I think
Snow
with the
is
situation
cocaine.
with
Snow
Donnie
is
and
cocaine,
Howard, I
Brian.
believe they should settle in a boxing match.
Actually, we're gonna settle it in a good old-fashioned Greco-Roman wrestling match.
No. Come on, guys.
I'll be taking bets. I'm going to bet on Dunning armor.
We both get all oiled up and naked, then we wrestle each other.
I'll pass. Whose cat is that in the background? So, I'm starting to laugh. But again, the reason I use January 6th is, and I think this show is turning out to be something that I didn't expect. There are a lot of people out there who perhaps want to derail it. And you know what? That is sometimes what happens. I kind of know the people that I have on, and they will more than likely do that. And if it turns to be kind of funny, I guess that's something that I've kind of learned to live with. And I think laughter is healthy, and jokes are healthy. I think we become a society that doesn't know how to joke around or laugh anymore. It's kind of sad, and laughter is some of the best medicine out there. But saying things in a joking and a laughing manner is better than saying it in a serious, hateful, and vindictive manner. Although that can be funny too. I've seen a few times where people have gone off, and it has given me big fat chuckles. Joey, do you have anything to add to what I said? Joey? All right, donning armor.
I yeah, Joey apparently either disagrees vehemently or is no longer at our service. Poor guy. But I completely agree with you, and I think that it's something that the left has killed is comedy, is laughter. Um, we have to harken back to the days of what George Carlin or Eddie Murphy or Andrew Dice Clay, uh, when we could actually Chris Rock, when we could actually joke about actual matters, serious matters. Excuse me. And now, if you look at the comedy now, I mean, goodness gracious, it's what's that Silverman girl? Uh, I love everybody in America. Ha ha ha.
Oh,
What?
you talking about Sarah Silverman? Ah, I remember her when she did the original comedy. She wasn't that good to begin with.
She was kind of funny when I first found out about her.
She was
She had
funny when
some.
she was fucking Jimmy Kimmel because he was writing her jokes.
I didn't know that they had sexual intercourse. I apologize.
Hey,
But
you know who got
No.
screwed over was Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffin, huh?
that's the girl that hold up a severed head of Donald Trump.
Trump, yeah.
And you people on the right got offended with that.
I'm not on the right. What is wrong with you guys?
Yeah,
Here's
well,
the thing: Brian likes to have things black and white, right and left. He's
Well-
a bit ridiculous with that.
honestly, I really don't care. I don't.
Okay, well, whatever it is. I thought that it was distasteful. I didn't think that it was funny at all, but I didn't really care because I don't like Donald Trump. I kind of think that the guy's just an arrogant narcissist scumbag. Personally, I think that of Donald
All right,
Trump.
he's out of the picture now. So
Okay, then
So
who
I
did
thought
you
this
vote for,
was
Donnie?
about,
Who did you
Stoic.
vote for?
Who did I vote for? Do you want to go all the way back?
No, when Donald Trump was running, who did you vote for? If you
Well,
voted
Donald
at
Trump,
all?
he ran twice. So the first election, the second election, or both.
Both elections, both.
First election, I voted for Hillary Clinton. Second election, I voted for Donald Trump.
Why the second time voting for Trump?
Because
All right, is this about politics, Brian?
Shut
Is
up,
this about
Dennis.
politics
Just shut up.
or what?
I'll
No, I'm
answer the
not.
question.
I'm not going to
I have
shut
no
up.
problem
Is this
answering the
about
question.
politics or
Let him answer the question, and then let's
all
cut
right?
from politics.
Say it.
Dennis, please.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
The first
yeah.
election, I voted for Hillary Clinton because I believed that she was simply more qualified for the position. I thought that she had more experience. The second time, I voted for Donald Trump because he brought something out that I knew was there, but I didn't know how toxic it was, and that's anti-whiteism. He showed just how much white people are hated. So I voted for Donald Trump the second time.
Oh, now we're getting into racism. All right, I wanted to talk about stoicism.
Okay, it was race related.
Wait a minute. Let Dennis have his part in here. He's reading from his whiskey bottle. Let's all listen to Dennis for. Don't meander too long, Dennis, please. Thank you.
No, I just wanted to chime in because I heard you guys speaking about controlling your anger. Donning, apparently you've got out of control. You admitted that your emotions got the best of you, and why is that? Like you're wondering why? Like I understand people get emotional and they make irrational decisions when they get emotional. Why do you think that is, Donning? Like this always intrigues me. Why do people let other people infect them so much with their actions upon you, sir?
Uh, well, I think when you completely lose control of your emotions, when you become emotionally unstable, uh,
You kill people.
Dennis has only killed 3 people. The 4th one, he's going to jail for life. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't. No, it's I agree with Brian in a certain way that we do need to be stoic to some extent, but then I know it sounds contradictory, and
Yeah. That's
it
pretty
is,
well
but
much oxymoron.
we also need to embrace our emotions at the same time. After all, we are human. So
Right.
it's a balance that we have to find. And
Right.
yeah, so, well, okay. I hope
Right.
that that's
So
answered
what?
your
So
questions.
no, no, it does not at all. Because what if you're an empath? You're empathic, all right? You hold compassion and everything like that. It's really hard to hold your emotions back, where that you just want to choke somebody out. Would you agree with me or not?
Um, no,
When
I'd
bad
agree
people
that
do things,
controlling your emotions is not a simple task. Sometimes
no,
you
it's
lose
not.
control of them, but I side with Brian to some extent, not completely, but I side to him to some extent that yes, we should try to control our emotions.
Right. And what other side do you not agree with him on then, in regards to
Well, I
controlling your
don't think
emotions?
that I would take it as far as he would take it. I think that Brian,
How far do you think he takes it then? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
well, he said that he admires James Hake and he sees him as to somewhat an inspirational figure. And I would never want to approach that level of, if you wish to call it stoicism. Stoicism. Um, I disagree. I think part of being human is experiencing one's emotion.
But I think it's in the manner in which you do it, and the way you project yourself, your emotions upon other people, and who those people are. Because some people can't take your emotions the way that you want to present them, right? So I think it's a respect and an understanding and appreciation of the peoples that you're uh, bestowing upon your emotional um energy, right? Do you disagree with that?
I'm not sure if I really understood, but certainly respect other people's emotions, whether they're right or wrong, but just understand that that is a byproduct of being a human being. And we will have disagreements along the way. I don't know if this is meandering or if we're going in different directions.
No, we're not
Um,
going in different directions. It's
do you
it's
agree with do
I
you agree with what I've said thus far?
yes, I have so far, but you
Wonderful.
haven't answered the questions that I've been
Okay,
asking you. Like,
ask me a specific question, and I will give you a specific answer.
all right, how do you control your emotions when somebody angers you? Simple, straight up.
How do you control somebody's emotions when they anger
How
you?
do you control your own emotions when somebody angers you? How do you control your emotions where that you're not going to lash out, or that you'll take it civilly and passively and just
Well,
calm a situation down? Or yes, that's what's my Specific question
No,
to you, sir, is yes.
no, wonderful. It's a great question, and it's a good question. What I would
Good.
say is it would depend on context. In certain context, I should lash out. In other contexts, I should be stoic and calm and rational. In other contexts, I should respond in violence. It depends on the context of the question. So
All right. Okay. You never answered my question. Um,
I think I did, didn't I?
how do you
Honestly, I think.
how do you
All right, let's move on.
no, he didn't. He
He
didn't.
answered.
He didn't.
This is. Listen, we have a limited amount of time here.
God's sake.
I'm sorry.
I'm just asking, Brian, how do you guys control your emotions? You guys come in here, you say stoicism all the time, right? And all I see is people saying sorry that I'm angry all the time. It's like, what are you doing about it?
Your patriot. I'm sorry, but your
What
patriot.
am I doing about my own anger? Why
Your
do I get so
patriot
angry all the
Gregging
time
right
for?
now.
And
Well, you don't really control your emotions well, Brian. You're not really a stoic. Neither is the Dawning guy or anyone else here.
Well, no. Do you want to make a comment right now?
I just made my comment.
All right. Well, they were Dennis and Donning Armor were talking about how do you control your like. I think, and I could be wrong on this, but Donning believes that sometimes it is good to let your emotions out, and I think at times that is a good thing. But in a civil society, and there are countries that they let their emotions and their desires run far freer than other countries. For example, countries in the middle, there are certain countries that don't even have rape, perhaps even in their dictionary. They think that is just a.
oh fuck. You know what?
Right.
Emotions run from
You know what,
individuals,
Dennis, I was talking.
essentially.
I'm going to take you off the stream, but I was talking, and you went in and interrupted me. And I do not want profanity. I would prefer that not.
I apologize, Brian. I apologize for swearing.
And also for
Going
interrupting
forward.
me. There's
No,
enough
I do.
time,
I apologize.
Dennis. There's enough time for all of us to talk. You know, uh,
Mhm. I apologize.
and I prefer. I have preference not for profanity. It shows a lack of discipline, and I think it does hurt the stream. But I just want to say there are times when you have to defend yourself.
Mm.
And like I said before, there are countries that go on all their emotions, particularly males. If they feel the sexual need and they can overpower like a female, they do just that.
Yeah.
We have.
Okay. Can I mention one thing?
Let me.
Sorry, Brian.
You gotta let
One
me
thing.
finish. I'm going to take you off the stream, man. You can't interrupt me when I'm talking. You know that I'm in mid sentence. Okay. There are countries that do this better than others, and again, I think it's important for for people within a civil society uh, to control themselves, and we're becoming less of a nation that is able to do that. And there are countries where that's better, and there are countries that aren't. And I do believe that countries where the populace is better able to control their emotions are countries that succeed far better than countries that do not. Does anyone have a comment on that? Joey, have you returned? Or are you still? Wonder if he went to the bathroom or something, or is playing with his dogs.
Better the beat on this show, Brian.
Well, do you have any comment, Cantifa?
What I do have to say is, I don't know. I think having emotions is perfectly fine. You just have to know when to kind of release them and when not to.
I mean, there's always room for improvement for emotional balance. Because certainly if you're doing things that are destructive, they're not necessarily good. Dragon, do you have a comment?
I'll be honest, sometimes when I listen to Dennis, I just want to punch him in the face when he interrupts.
Me too.
Well, he's now off right now. He's not on the page anymore. I didn't kick him off, by the way. I think he left on his own accord. But he does interrupt a lot, and sometimes he does meander. Donnie, do you have any comment?
Well, I think that I've expressed, excuse me, I've expressed myself. There's emotions have a place. I think that we should embrace them. On occasion, you can rage and be angry, justly or unjustly. And on other occasions, I think that you should be stoic. I'm not very good at it, as the previous show indicated. But, there's a time and a place for everything, and there's a response to everything. I don't think that life should be nothing but struggle and overcoming your emotions. There is a place for it, but I also think that there's a place for people, wiling out, as our dark brethren would say, and that's just the way it is. But I, I did want to ask Sly, what is it exactly? Where's the problem with my worldview? Like, what have I said that has offended? Because you called for my death. So where does that come from?
Look, I was clearly joking when I said that. Just like when you were calling that Jewish guy a pedophile.
I wasn't joking when I called
Well, I was
that
joking when I
person.
told you to hang yourself.
Okay,
If you took
no,
that
okay, that's
seriously,
good.
that's my bad.
No, it's all good, man.
Let's
No
not
worries.
let's not continue into that whole deal.
No, we're not going to continue that, Brian. Don't worry.
Howard is old news.
There we go. But all right, so I'm going to just have one last comment, and then I think I'll wrap it up from here, gentlemen. Again, I do believe that it's a good idea to manage your anger, and with the exception of cases of self-defense, or sometimes you have to act immediately, then it's okay. But if it's a case of words or going outside to challenge someone for your honor, sometimes it's better to think about it and cool off and really realize where it's going, whether it be at work, in any kind of political situation. Sometimes things are better left unsaid and left undone. Sometimes you gain nothing by even using your words. Anyway, I'm going to go around the room. First, JP, do you have any comment? Dawning, any comment before I end the show?
Happy January 6th.
Cantifa,
JP's a real cutie.
that was wonderful, and maybe he is. Well, I do want to say that I hope everyone does better. I hope that people are able to resolve their conflicts and just overall have a better outlook on life, and just you know really control themselves, because on average, when you act in an angry manner, for the most part, it does you no good. And speaking for myself, I cannot remember a time when I acted angrily where it benefited me in the end. So this is Brian. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I also have our Rumble page on the bottom. Please visit that as well. So everyone take care and enjoy the rest of your day, your night. And however, this was January 6th. January 6th is an example of people's anger getting out of hand. And there's a lot of that in this country right now and in this world. And hopefully we can talk to each other and with each other and not at each other. Thank you.